Got 10 seconds remaining. Looks like it's going to be a draw. Looks like it's heading for a draw. Maguire down the line. Noah. Oh! Ryan Hall! Ryan Hall scores for Leeds and wins the league leading
Hi, folks, and welcome to the Lot Pod. Strap yourselves in. It's now time for another match review panel.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly brought to you by ACD&B, who are a branding and creative design agency based in Farsley, Leeds. They create standout brands, so if anyone out there need a new brand or a brand refresh, just get in touch with ACD&B. And I'd also like to thank them, as we have, for their support throughout the whole of this season. And we also tweeted out at half-time of the Castleford game the front cover of the new Lot 17A fanzine. So that kind of gives you a little glimpse of all the hard work that ACD&B have done designing it and getting it printed. Just cannot thank them enough, because although the fanzine has been an idea and kind of something that we always wanted to achieve, without ACD&B it wouldn't have happened so quickly. So I'd just like to thank them for that and kind of backing us as always. So welcome to the Lot Pod. This is the match review panel for Leeds versus Castleford. Joining me as always is...
Oh, bugger, hang on.
Oh, bugger, hang on. We didn't prep it.
Stat.
Freeze.
Best intro ever. Statman Reese, how are you?
I think I've just about recovered from yesterday.
Where was you yesterday, Statman Reese?
I was at a wedding in Congleton, and I may have had to, as I saw we scored with 5 minutes to go, I may have had to go to the bar and put the game on my screen to watch it for the last 5 minutes, and I may have let out a little scream that may have been able to heard inside.
Did you go back to Ness and she said, "We all fucking heard you"?
Got back and went, "I'm guessing they scored." Yeah, they did.
Yeah, we won.
Yeah.
My question for you is, before we start, I've been to a few weddings, and 90% of the time the blokes end up with the ties tied around the head. Did that happen? Yeah.
Yes, and myself included in that as well.
I don't know why it always happens, but it does. It's just like
we
had
did
this
it
tie on all day.
Always does it. We were doing it to take the mick out of him. But yeah, one of our mates always does it. But yeah, we all did it to take the mick out of him at the end.
I knew it'd happen. Who have we got on today, mate?
We've got the old favourites, the regulars.
Ian and Cameron, brilliant.
Yeah, in Laurie and Duncan.
Hi, chaps. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
You're looking well, Duncan.
Try my best.
That's just an inside joke. I'm not going to say why I said that. That's literally just for the people watching on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch. Yeah, welcome back. Is it your hat-trick appearance finally, Dunk? You've been on more than 3 times this year, surely.
I've done half pods as well, haven't I, to be fair.
Yeah.
I must have been on more than 3 times, but this will be...
Well, you've done the draft twice.
Yeah, he did the draft twice.
Yeah, definitely more than 3.
This must be his hat-trick on... Maybe, it might be even more. Laurie's been on loads.
Well, we just can't get rid of Laurie, though, can we?
We could, you know.
He's wearing a beautiful shirt, though. That is a really nice shirt. I like
Newell's
it.
Old Boys, just for anyone that's on.
Newell's Old Boys, for anyone that's not. So, the match review panel for Leeds versus Castleford. We kind of spoke, we being me, Laurie and Duncan, prior to the game. And I think all 3 of us were kind of thinking, yeah, this should be easy. I think Laurie said by 20. Is that right?
You said about 30, didn't you?
I think I said 30 to 40. Dunk, what did you say?
Well, I tweeted 20 plus, and then I changed when I was talking to you guys, and I said 40 plus.
So we're all kind of in agreement. How did you see it, Reece? Obviously, you were at the wedding. How did you see it kind of going into it?
I said on the last podcast that I saw something on Twitter that when Cass have got their backs up against the wall, they're either absolutely crap and will concede 50, 60, 70 points, or they're putting a resolute performance. But I always thought it was going to be... I knew they'd turn up differently for us, I didn't think it'd be that close. I thought we'd win by at least 15, 20.
Yeah, so we're all in agreement that we thought it was going to be a nice, easy walk in the park. And then I thought about this because I knew I was going to say this on the pod today. And I think that first half of rugby league is the worst I've ever attended. Does anyone got a worse half of rugby? Does anyone agree with that? Anyone disagree with that?
I rewatched the game and I wrote down... There we go. These are my notes. So there we go. Error, 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 error. On 16 minutes...
If it were a laptop, it'd have blown up.
Yeah. On 17 minutes, each side had made 7 errors already.
Oh.
So that was 14 errors in 17 minutes between the two sides.
It was diabolical. Laurie, you kind of tweeted via your amazing Lorna's View Twitter account. I think you said something like, "This is nervous rugby." Is that how you saw it?
It was kind of weird. Like, I knew there was. I had two tracks of thought regarding the game. I thought either we'd come out and blow them to smithereens, or it was going to be a tight one. So when it was like 0-0 at half time, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of going one way." I thought about. No, just you could tell. For me, it just seemed two nervous sides who knew it was on the line no matter what. And you look at the errors that we made; it were all handling errors, really, wasn't it? And it were almost like, well, we wouldn't have made those errors any other time, So it's almost like, have the nerves got to them a little bit? Are they under that much pressure that they know what they're doing? And it were players who you normally wouldn't, expect to mess up either. So I think the nerves played a big part in that first half.
How did you see it, Duncan, that first half?
I felt whoever got the first try, it'd settle them down. I kept saying, if we can just get a try or even 2 points and just get in the lead, because it was pretty much a knockout game, wasn't it? It was like a playoff game before the playoffs. And I think,
playoff for the playoffs, yeah.
I think if we play Catalan next week and we get a penalty in the first 10 minutes and it's 0-0, we take 2. And we didn't do that yesterday. And we almost put pressure on ourselves, and they probably thought that they were going to blow them away as well. And like Reece said, like Cass with the backs against the wall and playing Leeds, they don't need an excuse to turn up and try and ruin a party against Leeds, do they?
No.
I quite like Andrew's comment of the first half. I thought Agar was back in charge.
Yeah.
No, that's not a bad thought. I must admit, I kind of had that inkling of like, have we gone back to like March here, or what is going on? And it was such a shock in a weird way. It wasn't our normal sort of rugby, so it wasn't. I totally agree with that comment, actually.
I do, and quite a few people kind of said it, sat around us in South Stand, kind of like, this is like going back to under Agar. This like, I do agree that we're obviously there was a nervous element to the game, but I also think it's the turnaround in games as well that killed the quality of that one. I mean,
yeah, was it 3 games in 15 days? I think it was.
They were knackered, absolutely knackered, which kind of brings me to Michalewski, because
I've got the stats for the whole team, but do you want me to go through Mick?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, hang on. He says that. But obviously Mick's been picked for Dream Team, but we're going to talk about that a bit later. For me, he was one of 2 players of the matches for me. No, one of 3 maybe, actually. But he's just saying really, really slowly just to get to his tweet. 19 carries, 7 tackle busts, 152 metres, 8 metres per carry, 5 offloads. So that was a season high for his tackle bust, carries, metres, and offloads. So stats-wise, it was his best performance. And some of his carrying was just immense.
It was. I mean, sorry, Reece. His second spell, I was looking at my friends thinking, this guy must be either half robot or doping for what he's doing.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, there was a run he did in his first, I think on the 4th minute, where he just carried on going. He went through about 3 or 4 people, didn't he? Just kept rampaging forward, and yeah, in fact, I'll tell you what. Let me go into full love mode, because
why not?
I looked at his stats for the whole season. He's the only player to play every game for Leeds this season.
he's literally carried us on his
He's
back.
literally played every game. He's started every game since round 3. He's made the most tackles in the side, but obviously because he's played nearly every game.
Yeah.
And he's made the second highest amount of meters in the squad. So he's made 2,698 meters, which is the 9th highest in the league, and is the highest by any forward. So he's the first forward on that list. On average, he makes 33.8 tackles a game, 3rd highest in the squad, 13.4 carries, 102.5 meters, which is the 4th highest in the squad, 7.6 meters per carry. He doesn't get penalised a lot. Concedes 0.2 penalties a game. And he's 24. He has potential, no doubt. One is potential scary, but no doubt I think he'll be Leeds Rhinos legend.
What would you say? Duncan is our resident hard man, our resident hard, rock hard, prop forward type lover. You've just been kind of had the stats database from Reese there about Aledzki. What would you say, Duncan? Because this is 24. I must swear, but he is. For God's sake, he's 24. And what would you say, Duncan? I'll ask Laurie and Reese in a minute. Because people kind of say props kind of hit an age where the peak. What would you say is the peak age for a prop?
I normally think 28. That's
28. So he's got 4 years
of
development
into the prime, sort of between 28 and 32. That's when I would say that they're in the prime. I'll tell you one thing that goes unnoticed with Aledzki, and that I think is really improved since Ron Smith's come in, and that's his handling. His passing yesterday was unbelievable. That one where he put, was it Myler he put through gap?
Put Myler in there.
To do it under pressure shows the confidence he's got. And it obviously wasn't the assist. It was like the pre-assist, as they've started calling it in football. But for a prop forward, the only prop in the league that I've watched through Super League that's been able to do that has been James Graham.
Yeah.
And I think if you're talking a massive wrecking ball carrying machine and he's got handling, it's a frightening prospect of what he could become.
You agree with that, Laurie?
I can't say any more than that.
No, and
wrapped it up on it. I went to him first.
In a weird way, I kind of feel like he's gone a bit undervalued.
I agree with that.
And as weird as it sounds, we've almost kind of, it's a little recently, like I've suddenly gone, wow, he's playing really well. And I don't mean that to sound bad. It's just, I think, especially in Super League, you've got so much emphasis on Wigan, Saints, everyone like that, that we kind of, I think the game has missed out on looking at Aledzki. And then when he's been included, which we'll talk about later, the Dream Team, he's almost become, people gone, really? And it's only like certain people who've like gone, almost. He's been a superstar this year, and it is because of his graft. I mean, he's a perfect example to kids out there who wanted to be a prop. Just keep grafting, keep going. You'll get noticed.
I think the fact that we haven't, there's been podcasts and reviews where we have waxed lyrical about him, but Laurie's absolutely right. He has gone under the radar. But Reese, do you think that's just because, kind of like what I said about Reese Martin with his goal kicking, where you just expect it? Then, soon as you continually expect something, you get used to it, and it kind of gets hidden away slightly. Do you feel like that's happened with Aledzki, and now that we've seen what he did against Castleford and is in the Dream Team, we're kind of like, oh my God, he is actually amazing.
I think it's a bit of a mix. I think under the Agar era, he probably stood out and wasn't underrated because he was one of the players that was
the only one really,
was leading from the front. As everyone has now started to pick up, even the likes of Zane Ivano was carrying great yesterday, and that the standard in the whole squad has lifted as well. So I think it has probably come a bit more unnoticed since the standard of the team, the performances have got better. I said he's a contender for Player of the Season and would probably win it if he didn't have a teammate called Reece Martin.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's valued enough. But I think people clearly know that he is one of the top players in that squad.
In the league, yeah.
And in the league.
Yeah. In the league. That's it. So obviously, we went 2-0 down. It got to a point, and I tweeted that
down.
you take a 1-0 here, just kill this game. I just needed it to end, and then Jake Mamo went through and scored, and kind of celebrated before he'd scored, which really, really annoyed me. Obviously, I'm kind of hoping that he knocked it on. At that point, at 8-0 down, did you still believe, Laurie, that we could do it? Because we'd seen rubbish up to that point, really, from both sides.
I said to my friends around me, we just needed that one moment where we clicked and we'd be straight back in it.
Oh, you just remind me of something there.
It was literally like we had to get, when it came to getting that penalty on the 72nd minute, there were a real awkward moment where you could see players like, what do we do? Because they were stood right in front of me. And you could see them all looking around like, what? And I think Reece got the ball and went, just let's go for 2. And it was kind of like, I was screaming on Global Terrace, going, go for 2, go for, you've got simple rugby. We're getting back into it here. Get 2 points. We're back in the game. If we take the tap and go, we could mess it up and lose the game. So, yeah, I think it was that optimism, wasn't it? There was a really strange optimism, like when we kicked that 2, that we're almost like, we're back in this now, even though we've only got like 8 minutes to go, we can still win this. It was a bit squeaky bum time, wasn't it?
There was a moment, I briefly spoke to Duncan about it after the game, when Zach Hardaker broke through, and I think he had Lehman.
Passed to Lehman.
Was it Lehman on his shoulder?
He made up for it, obviously, later, because he did
made
pass
up for
to
it
him.
later,
But he should have passed to him. Lehman were in.
At the time when he did do it, I don't remember. Again, I was kind of thinking before we came on, I couldn't remember a time when I was so angry at like a Leeds player and the decision that they'd made. Because things that anger me most are moments like that where they have a teammate, where they have an option, but they choose to just like go themselves or try something else when there's options all over in such high stake games. I just felt at that time, I said to my friends, obviously we knew what happened, and he did it again and he did pass. But I said to my friends, is Rowan watching this now? Because obviously Zach's coming out of contract and things. And is he watching up? Because to me, that decision he made there is wrong for the club. I know he put it right, but I thought in the moment, I was like, he's made the wrong decision there in the biggest game of our year to save our season. And he made the wrong choice. So I'm thinking, is this guy right for us? I know what Duncan feels like. But how do you feel about it, Laurie, about Zach Hardaker and that decision? Obviously, he made up for it, but do you think we should offer him a deal going forward?
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Not for me and Duncan, no.
I would. I'd be honest, I would. But I think it's one of those. It's the length of contract you offer.
Yeah.
That's the issue. It's a no-brainer to offer him a deal, but what is the deal that you offer, and what does he want? It's almost finding that middle ground, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think with Zach, I think it's rugby ability is never in question for me.
That's true. Yeah,
like he's a great rugby player, and arguably, if he'd not been a tit, he'd have been a Rhinos legend because he'd have stayed there from 2015. And being one of the most integral parts of the rebuild after the golden generation. And I think he's let himself down now. Whether he has finally grown up or not, I don't know. But I personally, I said on the podcast when he joined, this isn't a short-term deal. To me, they always plan to have him next year. It's just kind of been drip-fed down, and I think it's got to the point where there's only dinosaurs like myself that sort of question him getting a new deal. Whereas, like, I think most of the fans would certainly welcome him with open arms. I think.
Oh, I think Duncan. I think me and you are in a club of 2.
I don't get me wrong. I'm more it sounds weird. I'm more skeptical. Just like. It's almost like you can see something happening, but you don't want to envisage it, if that makes any sense. So it's like if we offer a deal, it's got to be right for everybody, But
Yeah, whatever that deal may be.
Yeah.
I thought Blake Austin played well again, Reese.
Yeah,
Especially defensively. I thought it was really good.
especially enjoyed his hit on Mamo when he kicked.
Yeah,
it
me too.
Which was good. I mean, going back to your point about the Hardacre pass, I thought that moment got off for God's sake. I was really getting worried at that point. And then Stevens was putting there saying the tipping point for me was when Tommy caught that grubber kick from McShane, and you could clearly see that Casper gassed and he prevented them from getting their breath back. I think I wrote down when I rewatched the game this morning that in the lead up to that Hardacre try, we just started to get the momentum back, and then we just lost it again. And it was the poor kick from McShane. On the listen to the commentary, they're saying he has to kick it to the sides, he has to kick it out there, and for him to do that mistake. So I thought Tommy played well. But Austin played really, really well. And it's funny with Austin because when I look at his stats, and I always say after the game, he played. I think he played well. The stats never really quite back it up sometimes, but they backed it up a bit more. He made 119 meters, 16 carries. He only made 16 tackles, which I feel like he always makes more.
Really?
Than he does, yeah. But no, I thought he played well, and he certainly stood out.
I did.
Higher than Caesar did, other than Caesar getting the try, which at the moment he only seems to be able to score last-minute tries.
I almost always kind of forget about Aidan Caesar in that I don't think he grabs hold of a game really and takes much control. You don't know. That's right. He tends to glide through the game until there's a big moment like that where they pop up, and I thought it was Myler that scored until I'd calmed down and stopped bouncing about stand, and then my mate went, no, it was Caesar. It's like, oh, I forgot he was there. But if he does that and keeps scoring match-winning tries and doesn't do much else, or doesn't affect the game as much as I think he should, then who cares?
I'll tell you what, the noise for the two tries, it sounded good on the Sky Sports when I watched it this afternoon. It sounded really, really good, especially the Hardacre when he made the break, because there was a massive go on. Like, everyone knows it's a 2-on-1, and Mamo was absolutely gassed. He saw Hardacre running at him with Levy coming along the side of him and went, oh, for it's true. The noise when he made that pass and Levy went under was brilliant.
I love those moments in rugby league, for Leeds, obviously, where, like Reece says, where there's a break, and you almost know. We kind of touched on it with Blake Austin's try of the week, that we've scored before we score. If that makes sense. Yeah. It's like the ground are already celebrating, and then as soon as they go over the line, I mean, that was one of the biggest. What do they call it in football? Mentals. Ever, Duncan, and what were it like in Carnegie?
It actually we actually stood up. Which is
Jesus. Bear in mind, just so everyone knows, Duncan doesn't stand in the standing section. He's on the seats above it.
Yeah, normally when you stand up in the Carnegie, you have to check around and make sure you're all right to stand up. But everyone just jumped up in unison at that point.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I ended up about 3 rows down on steps, just dived down. Just thought, oh my God. Just in pure relief, because in the game we're awful. Absolutely.
I mean, the bloke in front, there were 2 blokes in front of me that were in tears.
Really?
Yeah.
They must have been Cas fans.
Just the sheer outpour of emotion from that try. And it was an oldish guy, must have been in his 60s, and then his son, and they were both they'd just completely gone.
Oh,
there was one, when you're watching back the second try, there is one moment that I loved. In the background, you can see a guy with his kid, must be about 3 or 4, on his shoulders wearing the Borough shirt, and he's jumping up and down, but obviously trying to keep hold of his kid that's above him like that. But it was just like that. You're talking about that father-son moment, Duncan. It was quite a few little bits I spotted in the crowd. I've watched it quite a few times, but
I think you can see me on it as well when they're celebrating Caesar's try, because like our up Global Terrace, and the camera just goes right behind the players and focusing on the crowd, and it's right in front of where I'm stood, and I'm sure you can see me doing like the big wings.
It gets everywhere, Laurie. You can't miss him.
Come on, like that, I saw it this morning, just went, oh no, I look an idiot. I can see me, so I don't want anyone screen grabbing that, but you can. Yeah, it's quite clear.
And obviously, Reece Martin now, Reece. What are we up to with his goal kicking?
I tweeted 34, but I think it's actually 36.
Wow.
So
he's
So
is
he's not
am I right in
missed a
saying that
kick
he's
since
equaled the
round 18.
record?
He's equaled the record now, I believe. Yeah.
Oh my God. Kev did it, didn't he? Kev got 36. Did Liam Finn got a record?
I think Finn's the record holder. I'm sure I read that yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure Finn they get 42 or something, 41, 42. God, I hope he does it. There were kind of a moment yesterday when the crowd kind of went, there were people at South Stand like telling them to shut up, as they were taking the kick.
Right from the sticks off, yeah.
Don't to miss. Those are kind of the highlights of the game, what we saw. But what I was gutted about, really gutted, and you could kind of see he was gutted, well, Ash Hanley picked up a bad injury. We kind of saw him on big screen in like one of these moon boots. What's more, obviously, it looks like he's going to miss the rest of the year for us, miss the grand final, which is heartbreaking for him. But he's missing the World Cup as well, Duncan.
If he was picked by Sean Wayne.
Well, yeah, that's a point.
He'd miss it for every other England coach, but whether he misses it for Sean Wayne, we may never know. Because I think I think it's a serious one. Judging by how he was being consoled at the end as well, like Rowan Smith put his arm around him at the end of the game.
He looked gutted, didn't he? Yeah.
It's a big loss. It's a massive loss for us. It is a massive loss, especially going to Catalan, and then if we get through that, potentially Wigan away. You need your backs to give your forwards a rest, and there's no one better than Ash bringing the ball out from your own end.
Yeah. I mean, Ash has made the most. Ash has made the most carries out of any player in Super League this year, and has the most meters. So it is a big loss.
He looks so, without sounding harsh, he looks so desperate because he was like on the South Stand wing trying to go towards the Western Terrace in first half, and you could see after he'd done it, and he was trying his hardest to try and run it off.
Trying everything, wasn't it, just to kind of
and it was just literally like you could see he was grimacing and indicating, and it was just like, Ash, get off, please, without sounding bad. They're going to target you any second here, and you won't be able to do anything.
As I don't want to give us a pat on the back, but we do deserve a pat on the back because we did say on this podcast that with these games in quick succession, that there will be big injuries in this round. We said it on this podcast maybe a week or two ago. Obviously, Liam Farrell's got a bad one, and he's out 10, 11 weeks. Obviously, I'm thinking of England and things, and now Ash Hanley, probably some others that I'm kind of overlooking and missing. This kind of turnaround at this time of year, this was bound to happen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was always the fact that they've done it this time, especially a home World Cup. It's madness. And obviously, looking forward now, they've said that they won't be doing it. Finally, they've listened to the fans and the players. Something that I kind of couldn't believe happened, unless we missed it. Was Tom Briscoe, Liam Sutcliffe in particular, their last games at Headingley, and they didn't speak to the crowd or anything.
It's really weird, wasn't it? It didn't feel right.
We kind of waited around because as the players did like the lap of honour and signed the shirts and had the selfies and things, and Duncan had a great time with Brad Dwyer. But I was expecting Rob Oates to come out and kind of say, "Right, Tommy, thanks a lot. You've been an amazing player. Here's your highlights package. Have you got a message for the fans?"
Yeah.
Then the fans can kind of. Did the club say they were going to do that?
I don't think they said they were going to do anything, but they definitely did a bit of a speech with Rowan at the end, because after the interview, he went off into the middle of a picture of Oatsy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there didn't seem to be anything to acknowledge. I suppose, obviously, they're saying that they'll do it at the victory parade once we won the grand final.
Oh, of course.
Probably that's probably what they're waiting for. Yeah.
I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah, that's probably what they're waiting for.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it did, obviously, taking the delusion aside.
That's the whole pod. See you next week.
It was strange that they didn't say anything, especially for Tommy and Liam, who've been here for so long.
Yeah, not so much Dwyer, but Tommy and Liam, especially now. Briscoe scored some. He scored every final we played him. Must have done.
Not every, but made up. Well, he scored 5 in that one Challenge Cup, didn't he?
Scored against
Big-
Castleford in 2017 as
Yeah,
well.
scored against Cass.
Scored against Cast 2017.
I don't think he scored against Wigan in 2015.
No, he didn't, did he?
No, I didn't.
And he didn't score in
scored
2014
against
final,
Salford?
did he?
About Salford in Cup.
I think he did score.
Yeah, he did
against
score at
Salford.
Salford.
Yeah, he scored against Salford. So 2 finals he didn't. Great player. Sad to see him go. Big crowd. We kind of said, me and Reese, I think I said I would expect about 18,000. What did you say, Reese?
I didn't give a number. I just said it was going to be. I think it
big.
should be the highest of the season.
I've got it down here as 15,418, the highest of the year. It felt more to me in the ground. I don't know if that's just me. Kind of looking round, I thought this looks about 16, 17. But then when it was announced 15, I was a bit surprised.
It was a
But
bit
I
strict.
suppose Cass didn't bring as many, did they? I thought, no, Cass normally fill out that end.
Well, they just brought out village idiots with them.
Yeah, they did.
What was this about? Someone having a flare in the taps?
Taps.
Yeah, I was there, and it was.
We'd just left. We'd just literally said
You
to
had-
Laurie, "We're going now. See you after." And as we walked, then there were loads of like little Cass idiots came walking on with a flare, didn't they? So, Laurie, you could take it away. You were there.
Yeah, I'd instead of walking, a lot of time I walk up to Headingley, but I couldn't be bothered yesterday, so I caught a bus up to Headingley. And as the bus was pulling up outside Head of Steam, I looked and there were all these group of lads that were all sat outside Head of Steam, and I just thought, oh no, they're Cass supporters, aren't they? You could tell they were like the how could we put this? Like the Grange Hill Brigade of the Cass.
They have like an eye in the middle of the forehead. Really
Six
stands out.
fingers.
It was, yeah. And we've, as I say, well, a few of us were in the taps and everything. And Dex, we stood at car park. We all late, Leeds, we all late. And they were like, oh no, they're coming in here. And literally, once it's at car park, and Stuart's like, Bouncer's like, nah, you ain't coming in, you're too young. So next thing you know, we just looked up and there were all this orange smoke just bellowing out. And it was like, you've let a smoke bomb off in a car park. Like, what are you doing? And they were just carrying on bouncing around and they were trying to be rude to all Leeds fans. And it was like, well, I mean, I know you're young, but it don't make a good impression, not only on you, but on the Cass club as well, because there were a lot of Cass fans in there and they're all like going, what a set of idiots. So it tainted their image and it shouldn't, most of the Cass fans are all right. But honestly, it was just embarrassing. But
it is embarrassing. I don't get the angle. Who is it for?
But then
football,
again,
is it?
did anyone see the smoke bomb get released in the Western Terrace?
Yes.
Because I got Matt Horton messaged me this morning. He was like, "Oh, did you see the guy get chucked out?" I was like, "Well, I was at the other end. I could see somebody getting launched out." He's like, "Yeah, he had no shirt on, and it took 7 blokes to get him out at stand." And you're just thinking, "What on earth are you doing, lads? What? It's not big and it's not clever. Just leave it alone,
It's just really, really scruffy.
Put your shirt.
It's
on,
not football.
Put your shit.
Get your shirt on, lad. Get out. But seven viewers to take him out. I mean, what are you doing?
I don't expect any less though, do we, from them?
I
was so glad we beat them. Oh, God.
Well, they thought they won, of course, didn't they? After Mamo's try, that was and Mamo thought he'd won as well. I think
Mamo thought he'd won it, celebrating like it were Ryan Hall going over for league leaders at Huddersfield. I thought, God Almighty, please, Leeds, do not lose to these, please.
He's such a likeable character, isn't he, Mamo?
I do like it. Do you know as well? I've got written down here. I like Lee Radford. It might just be me.
I was being sarcastic there about Mamo, but
he's such a.
He's a pain
I don't think he's funny. Does anyone else think Lee Radford? I like him. I think he's straight talking.
He's quite straight, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want him as our coach.
I wouldn't want him as our coach. No way. But it's like, who's Wigan?
Pete.
Matty Pete.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah,
I like that annoys me. That annoys me that I like him.
Yeah,
I shouldn't like anyone associated with Wigan.
First ever Wigan coach.
I can't like Radford though. Played for Bradford.
No. Oh really?
From Hull. Manager's Cass. No. You've just ticked all the boxes of being a dick.
It's a complete, it's a full house on the dickhead questionnaire.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? We'll edit this. What do you mean it's live? What do you mean it's live?
Speaking of cast people, did you see the stats of our future 3-year contract, Daryl?
That's a good point. Someone in the live chat
Andrew
mentioned
said
that.
it.
Andrew.
216 meters he made.
Yeah.
That's
My
mental,
first
isn't it?
question is how? He didn't look like he made that many meters, did
It
he?
ran at Matt Pryor, that's how.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Pryor made more meters than his 17 he made the last week, though.
24.
No, 62.
Oh, right.
Still pretty low. There was some very strange stats
tackles
actually
did he
just talking about this. Sorry, Duncan.
How many tackles did he make?
Well, I might as well go through the stats since we're talking about the stats. So prior, he made 16 tackles. That's it. We actually had 51 tackle busts, which is the highest for the season. That equals the highest. It was also the second highest number of carries we've had and the second highest amount of meters. We had 18 errors.
Yeah, that's just the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, which is the highest of the season. Only 5 players did not make an error.
Wow,
that's actually more than what I thought. I'll be honest with you.
But player-wise, we had 7 players that got over 100 meters. So Martin again 156, Sutcliffe 155, Aledski 152, Briscoe 147, Austin 119, Tetivano 112, Myler 108. Tackle-wise, Bentley led the charts again with 55. Smith got 40, Leeming got 38, Tetivano got 33. We actually missed 41 tackles on the day.
Fucking hell, that's shocking.
Leeming missed 8.
Leeming was bad. I remember that. I remember their winger kind of just kept running at him, didn't he, and just pushing him over. And
Bentley and Caesar missed 6 as well. And then 51 tackle busts. Bentley got 9 of them. Cliff and Ledsky had 7. So that was kind of it, really. Martin's stats again were brilliant. 24 tackles, 5 tackle busts, 21 carries, 156 meters, and 36 consecutive kicks. Not in the game, obviously, but in total now. So yeah, they were the stats.
I think.
Can I
go on,
quickly raise a point? Me and some friends were chatting this afternoon and on about Bentley. And if you think about when he hadn't had a ban in, is it 10 games now? Something like he's played 10 games since a ban.
Had a ban in ages.
Yeah, and he's looked so much impressive. He's playing like the player that we.
Oh, that's Laurie's internet.
Well, we have to just because he's left us on a cliffhanger here, so we have to just stay silent. Until he comes back because. No one knows what he's going to say.
No one knows. I mean, he does have a good point, though. Like, to continue his point, I have no idea what he was going to say. But he missed round 23, and I can't remember why. Was he injured? He was injured. Since that Saints ban, he hasn't had a ban. He's only had 1 yellow card. He's conceded 12 penalties in that period, which in the previous period to that, he conceded 11 in much less games. So, you know, he has been that leader, especially in defence as well. He's had some monster games. He made 74 tackles in round 19, 62 in round 16, 62 in round 25. So, he's constantly leading from the front now.
I think he's that player that we thought we were getting.
Yeah, definitely.
We were certainly hoping to get.
Definitely.
I think one of the things that I picked out from yesterday and just going off the back of your stats and stuff, there's leaders starting to emerge.
Yeah,
within the team.
One in particular, I think. Carry on.
And I think it's good to see, like when they got in that huddle at the end. You could see Reece Martin talking. It's as if that leadership group really now are starting to probably feel a little bit more comfortable within the group and with the job that they've got within the team, which is only going to benefit us in the long run.
I think we can all agree, we've kind of spoke about it all season, really, that Reece Martin has to be the captain next year.
I don't necessarily think you have to be the captain to lead. Obviously, if you're the best player or your leader you need multiple leaders, don't you? So, and obviously,
you need more than one.
We don't know what goes on behind closed doors, and obviously what and how it's done. Obviously, those captains were given from Agar, so Rowan might have a different opinion on it next year, or he might run away. But whether you've got the captain badge or not, there are leaders emerging, definitely. And leaders that we thought should be leaders, but they're now like Duncan says, they're actually now starting to show it. Reece has shown it all year. Aledski's shown it all year. I think Austin's definitely showing that bit more leadership now since Rowan's come, especially in defence. He works hard. So there's definitely people that are stepping up and showing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good to see because, like, early in the year, we said on the pod, didn't we? We didn't feel like there were any there, no one kind of. But then since Rowan's come in, like Duncan said, there's kind of got this little leadership group starting to form now. I just think that next year for me, Reece Martin is the standout captain. And to be honest, I think it's something that he'd thrive on. You know what I mean? And be like, right, I'm really going to step up to the plate even more. And I think I've always been a big believer in like congratulating and kind of giving a pat on the back to those who consistently perform, as if to say, because I think it kind of says to the squad, like, this is the standard. Reece Martin is that standard. Would you agree with that, Duncan?
Yeah, I mean, but I think going off what Reece said, like, you don't need to be like the best player or like the standout of to be a captain. I think with Reece, he's probably taking on the talking role within the group, and I think obviously because we spoke before on here and we've said like the likes of Lehman and Hanley are probably the leaders that like to lead through what they do on the field rather than by using the mouths, which is fine. There's all different types of captains. Like even when you look at Kev, he had Peacock at the side of him who probably did all the talking and the motivational speaking and the getting everyone riled up before the game. And Kev was that guy who, when he spoke, everyone just stopped and listened. So yeah, I think it's really starting to take shape. Like everything that he's inputting within the team, and the guys are buying into what he said. And I think if under Agar, it must have been hard to be a captain and not believe in what your coach is saying. And probably to lead a team that are all a bit down and fed up of getting beat most weeks and not achieving the potential. It must have been a frustrating group to be part of, whereas now it seems to have completely done a full role reversal and we're flying now.
Well, it's certainly
so quickly as well.
Sorry?
And so quickly that change seems to come about quite quickly. That's the bit I'm surprised by.
It's easier to kind of lead when and kind of raise your voice and speak more when you are winning. It takes when you're losing. People's heads can go down, and I feel like it can be harder for someone to kind of raise the voice to say, right, look, this needs to be better. You need to be better. But now that I feel just from Rowan being here, really is such the upturn, like Reece says, is drastic, and obviously. We on this podcast, me and Reece, shout out Duncan, I think we're going to go all the way and win it. But 2023, regardless of how this year goes, is exciting under Rowan.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of. We got Laurie back. Welcome back, mate.
So, Laurie, do you want to finish your point on Bentley? Because you
left us on a right cliffhanger on Bentley.
A right cliffhanger. Oh, he's still not connected. I don't think. We'll let him dance around until he does that.
I'm dying to know. I'm
dying to know. Laurie, we can't.
I'll never know.
Anything else?
We'll get on the next podcast. Sorry, Reece, go on.
Is there anything else we want to talk about before we move on?
I think the last thing we need to do to wrap this Cass match up, as we do always, is man of the match.
Ledsky.
Duncan?
Yeah, Ledsky for me.
Me too, Aledski. I think Hardacre got it on Sky. I thought he had a good game, apart from that kind of brain fart that he had, which we spoke about, but he did make up for that. But I thought Aledski were absolutely
outstanding.
The best by a standout. Jumping into Catalan away, France away again. If anyone listening to this has been to France, how many times is it? This will be 4 times
We've played.
in about
This
8
will be the
weeks.
4th time because we've done Toulouse once and we've done Catalan away twice, haven't we?
And then Catalan again
And then
now
we're going
coming.
back to Catalan again, yeah. So
Oh my
nice of
God.
Salford to put a crap team out against Warrington in it. So
Yeah,
that's what we did
thanks.
there.
If anyone
so
listening to this, or if anyone knows anyone that has been to all these games, I mean, first of all, they're minted, aren't they?
Or
And
daft.
second of all,
Or
yeah,
daft.
or daft, or both. I mean, what support that is, to get out there that many times. I'm just jealous. That's all. So it looks, obviously, I'm saying it looks like, I think we're definitely going to be without Handley for this one. So
Yeah.
I think, what it you, Duncan, that you spoke to Fussy Tour after the game?
Yeah. He said he should be next week, and so did Harry. And Harry Newman said he wanted to play this week, and he's going to do everything he can to play next week. Because I said to him,
God.
I said to him, "What about the World? Is that you?" I said, "I'm really sorry that you're missing World Cup and the rest of the season because you've been absolutely unbelievable for us this year." And he just said, "Oh no, I want to be back for the World Cup, and I want to be back next week."
Oh my God.
He will. I've got a
like,
feeling that
Telling me there's a chance.
he will move heaven and earth.
Oh
to,
yeah,
to try and get in that to
get
into
in.
play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could see it that he was like itching, and then Bodine Thompson said he wanted to play this week, but he tore 3 muscles in his chest, which then led to him getting fluid on his lungs.
Oh my God.
Jesus, that was the injury
And
at Hull KR, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's when he went to hospital at Hull KR, and he said, "I'm fit enough to play, but I can't play with the fluid on my lungs. So if the fluid on the lung goes by next week, he'll be playing."
Jeez.
By the way, I'm loving this reporting, Duncan, an injury update. Can you do this every week?
I can just speak to the players directly every week.
So players so Fussy's back, did he say? Or is he?
Yeah, so Fussy said he should be back next week.
Right. Newman's question mark. Ash is obviously out.
Yeah.
Brad was injured, wasn't he? He had a knee injury.
Yeah.
Bodine wants to come back.
I think
so we've pretty much got a
Donaldson was in the squad but didn't quite.
Oh yeah, Donaldson.
He should be back as well.
So we're not far off a fully fledged team, are we?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I think kind of playing out there twice in relatively last week, but short periods of time could help us. But the biggest question for me on this one is, I'll start with Laurie because we've got Laurie back, I believe.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome back, mate. The pink kit, should we wear the pink kit again, Laurie?
What a silly question. Of course we should.
It doesn't work in France.
I know, but it doesn't work in France. I mean,
well, it's worked once in France.
No, we've played it. We played in that kit 3 times in France, and we've won 2 times.
Oh no, when we beat them out there? What about the pink?
We wore pink that game, yeah.
Did we? For season?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry.
So it's a tough one, but what else do we wear? Because we've retired the yellow one now. So what would we wear?
I don't like that god awful silver one either.
There's only one I'd wear in the playoffs to motivate the team, and that'd be the Rob Burrow one.
The Burrow one. Retired though. That was last time we were wearing it, wasn't it? Other week.
Ah, bollocks to that. You get that on.
Should have just wore that the rest of the year. We said that to Rob.
It does the thing is, it does your team talk for you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Unbeaten in it.
So we've got most of our players back, hopefully. They've done the trip 3 times. I liked Rowan's response in the press conference because he didn't moan about it. He said, "We've done it before. We know the routine. We're good at the routine.
No excuses.
No excuses." How we're feeling?
I think we're going to win. I think we'll do it. What's that? Shock. Surprise? Shock horror.
He needs to start Cam Smith at 13.
Yeah.
Because
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Because when he's on the bench, our attack.
I've got you a badge, by the way. I found him, Duncan. Carry on, sorry.
No, cheers, mate. Our attack is Cam needs one as well. He said he wanted one.
I sent him some. Actually, I sent them to Ash Hanley. Rob Oates. I sent some to Rob Oates as well.
All right. Well, he still hasn't got one because he said if you get your hands on one, I'll definitely have one.
Oh,
I've
well,
got
the
some
limited
Star
edition
Wars
now, there's quite a price on these badges.
what, we're going to make
but-
Cam pay a tenner for his own bloody badge.
No, not a tenner. They're worth about 40 quid now.
40 quid.
Because my
Oh my
stepson
God.
asked him for his. My
Sorry, Duncan,
stepson,
I've just completely hijacked your
no,
point.
no, it's fine. My stepson asked him for his boots when he was coming round, and he said, "I've still got to play." And he said, "Well, I'm a member of your appreciation society."
Does that mean nothing to you?
He just like he was a top bloke, to be fair. He just like
Yeah, he's the best.
had a laugh and a joke with him, and then took a photo with him. And he said, "Well, I'll give you them at Old Trafford," is what he said.
Oh,
to us, yeah.
See,
He's on
see,
it.
this is why we love the guy.
So yeah, but no,
What
going
other
back to what I was
question,
saying,
Reece?
I think he's got to
Oh yeah,
start at 13, and then even if the thing is what you do with Pryor, because he's finished,
yeah.
and we can't have passengers at Catalan, and if he comes off the bench when Cassiano comes off the bench, it's not really what we.
Whenever
really what we
Cassiano's
do.
on that pitch, there needs to be someone man marking him.
Yeah,
someone trying to match him up. Yeah,
Every time Cassiano gets the ball, for me, it's Aledzki.
yeah,
You put those two against each other, but the likelihood is Aledzki will start, and they'll probably rotate Cassiano one, and then Aledzki comes off.
I think that's where you say to Zane, "You're our marquee man."
Yeah,
He's yours.
yeah.
They're the games that you sign. They're the games that you sign your marquee player for. I mean, I know we all know the thoughts of this we all know the thoughts of the podcast on him, but he's actually been pretty good the last few weeks.
No, we've acknowledged it. We certainly have acknowledged
I
it.
know you have. I just it'll be yeah.
Eddie even says his name now.
yeah, I do. Tains Evano.
I'm sure he appreciates it.
If he plays better next year, he might have his own badge and appreciation society. I'm not
The
saying that
Bullet
I'll be the one the founding member, but someone might do it for him. I think I agree with Duncan. I think starting Cam, kind of putting a game plan together for Cassiano, because he just ran over us, last bank holiday Monday.
Just don't give him a 10-meter run up.
Yeah. So I mean, it's awful, absolutely awful to watch. So kind of putting a game plan together, like Duncan said, and even if Rowan just says to Zane, "You've got one job today, just we're going to match up with him, spell you at the same time, and just try and nullify him, because he just runs over us like Wormsy does." And I mean, he's offloading, and it just kills us. How do you see it, Laurie?
It's going to be a battle, isn't it? And I think this is the issue with Tevano. I know it sounds awful to say, but I would be literally screaming to him this week, going, "You are the guy that could do this for us. Get Cassiano stopped, and we could be there." Are we going to win this on the forward battle? Well, is it the forward battle, or is it the backs that's going to win it on Friday? Because that's
I think it's definitely our backs that are going to.
Yeah.
It's a tough
get us over the line for this.
The backs will get us over the line, but the forwards need to set the platform. They need to set the platform in the middle and control the middle, which means getting ahead of even the other props. I know we talk about Cassiano, but even the other props ran over us when we were there last time. So we've got to win that forward battle to give the backs the platform to do, which I think we can do.
Yeah. Predictions then, Reece. Start with
Rhinos by 6 and Caesar to recreate his last minute try again.
Lovely. Magic. Duncan?
Leeds by 2.
Oh, God.
Oh, Duncan, I can't do that.
That gave me a fright of life, that, just saying it. Laurie?
Leeds by 6.
Oh, God. You all think it's going to be close, then?
Here comes Eddie. Leeds by 40.
No, I won't say 40, but I'll say 10, just to keep my delusion slightly higher than the other members of the podcast. Good luck, Leeds. Good luck, Leeds. On to club news, Reece.
Yeah, so it's been quite a good week, really.
It has.
Obviously, we made the playoffs, as you're all aware, because we even said the score for the Catalan game, have we? Cast game, have we?
Oh, we didn't say the score for our score. What was it?
14-8.
14-8, everybody. Did you hear that?
So
14-8.
we made the playoffs. The wheelchair side won the League Leaders Shield. So
Congratulations,
well
well
done to
done.
Ewan and the rest of the team.
Well done to specifically to the best wheelchair player on the planet, Ewan Clibbons. Well done, my friend. Amazing as always.
And then this afternoon, the women beat last year's overcame St. Helens overcame last year's grand final loss and beat St. Helens. And I don't know what the score was because when Zoe Hornby scored the try at the end, I didn't take a look, but we were winning 8-6. So we've either won 12-6 or 14-6. I can't remember what it was. But
I always think we won, so who cares?
Yeah, but I watched most of the game. In the second half, Courtney Winfred Hill was immense.
Yeah,
like her kicking game was
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And it was a really good. They played that second half to an absolute T.
Yeah.
They were brilliant in that second half. And I did send a message to Danica following our interview saying the crates of Budweiser at the ready because we know what Hannah Butcher's like apparently in her celebrations. So I'm assuming there's some crates of Budweiser getting thrown around the changing room right now.
And no coincidence that our guest on Wednesday, as we record this at 8 o'clock, scored 2 tries today.
She did.
Is that a coincidence? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Sophie Robinson is our guest, our special guest on the Lock Pod special on Wednesday as we record this. Going to speak to Sophie about her rugby league career, her time at the Rhinos, hobbies and interests, and more specifically, food. Because we found out from Danica that she has an Instagram page.
An Instagram page, yeah. Food with Sophie.
Food with Sophie. So go ahead and follow that if you are listening to this, because we are going to kind of dig into food and travel with her. And Laurie, am I right in saying you went last week to Sophie's recent recommendation?
Oh yeah, I went to on Friday. I dragged my dad up to Meat Stacker, which is in Leeds, just near the train station. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. I'm not even getting promoted to saying this, but seriously, really good food and good burgers. It's definitely worth a trip.
Better than the Fat Hippo.
Fat Hippo are really good, mate. But Meat Stacker, the burgers are really nice. I mean, really nice.
And you're like a patron saint of the Fat Hippo as well.
Oh, Fat Hippo is really good, but
we've said Fat Hippo 6 times now. That's worth a sponsor.
Yeah, I just want free food for the game.
But honestly, I was quite impressed. And getting their chocolate and hazelnut milkshake is really good, really good.
So Sophie is coming up on Wednesday live on YouTube and then available as a podcast as well. And then on Thursday, this is the big announcement that we've got. We are pleased to announce we've got...
I think they know the writing's on the wall. Maguire, Senior, back to Maguire. Danny Maguire for Leeds. The young hero to win the grand final, baby.
Danny Maguire is on the Lock Pod live.
How the hell am I going to do a podcast?
At 7 o'clock. Danny Maguire, the man himself, is going to be with us next Thursday at 7 o'clock live on the Lock Pod. I
does
just
he know what he's in for?
Really?
Does he know what he's in for?
I know. I hope he's got 12 to 14 hours of pure live recording because we can ask him, we can speak to him all night. We are obviously going to open a mailbag for him. We're going to go through his career. We're going to touch on his time at Hull KR, and obviously we'll open a mailbag for all your questions. So yeah, we finally got Danny Maguire on the Lock Pod. I have to thank Andrew for this one. He did the hard work in getting Danny. Danny spoke to Andrew about one of Andrew's Leeds United books. So Andrew kind of jumped onto that and managed to get his number and spoke to him. And Danny said, "Yeah, I'll come on. It's not a problem." So yeah, amazing.
So on a scale of 1 to 10. How bad was the crisis you had after you got told the news?
Just really, really bad. And like my wife were like, you I don't know why. She says it's like she was buzzing from it. And then she's like, you aren't going to be able to speak. And then she like did an impression where she went, "Hi everybody, welcome to the Danny, I love you." Just breaking down. I don't know how I'm going to be. I don't know if I'm going to be like shutting down, struggling to speak, or like really over the top, like not shutting
I
up.
imagine it's going to be like when a 4-year-old meets Santa.
Yeah, that's,
I love you. I love you.
I imagine it's going to be a bit like that.
Yeah, just unbelievable. So yeah, that was the big announcement that we've got. Danny Maguire's coming on the podcast this Thursday. So we've got Sophie Robinson on Wednesday at 8 live as we record this, and then Danny Maguire the following day, Thursday, and then obviously the Rhinos play on Friday. Excellent. Anything else to add, or is that the end of this match review panel?
I don't think you can finish on any other note.
No, we'll finish on Danny.
I don't know how I can't bring that to that podcast. Otherwise, it's going to be me for like 12 hours like that.
Like, why did
and
I
you're
come
going to
on?
be doing a similar gesture, but for a completely different reason.
After the pod, never mind. Afterwards. Brilliant. Thanks for coming on, Duncan. Thanks a lot, Laurie.
No
thanks
worries.
a lot, Reece, as always. And thanks, everybody, for engaging and listening. We'll be back with the Super League Rugby League roundup. See you soon.